James, thank you so much for being with us this morning. What's the latest that you're hearing from the ground?
Now, the latest is indeed that, as you said, the village of Kailat al-Madiq has been taken. Now, we have a map, so you see where this is in Syria. It's in the northwestern part of the city. This is Kailat al-Madiq. And Kailat al-Madiq was the objective for the Russian-backed Syrian forces because we have a second map. This one is a close-up of this part of the country because right here on the coast you have Hemaimim Air Base. Now, Hemaimim Air Base was being targeted from this village by the rebel forces, more specifically a jihadi group called Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which was the former al-Nusra group and linked to al-Qaeda. Now, this has been going on for some time with, according to Russian sources, daily hits on this airbase. And indeed, well, Vladimir Putin had said on many occasions that if these rocket attacks were to carry on, there would be retaliations. And that's what we're seeing now with, indeed, the forces of the Syrian army taking this village and villages around it, backed by Russian Air Force.
James, as I mentioned earlier, we have had, I suppose, what we can describe as relative calm in this area. Do you think the timing of this is significant?
It is significant. The thing is, Turkey, as part of this deal, in which was broken this zone, this de-escalation zone, was supposed to make sure that these jihadi forces were under control, that they stopped provocation towards the outside. That was the deal. Indeed, Turkey has not delivered on that promise. For the moment, the Turks have not managed to rein in these jihadi groups. And now there are two very important highways that cross this area that go from Damascus, which is down south, to Aleppo, one of the main roads, which is called the M5. Now, according to this deal, this was supposed to reopen at the end of 2018. This has not happened, and this is a logistical nightmare for the regime and for Russia. Now, the question mark is, what does Damascus want to do? Obviously, Bashar al-Assad had said that he would retake every square inch of Syria. This is the last rebel stronghold. Now, Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, has said that it is not the right moment to retake this zone. Why? Because it would be indeed a bloodbath. There are about 3 million people in this zone. Prior to the war, there were 1.5 million. This is the very last area in which there are rebel forces, and they have nowhere to move to. They've been moved in from many other fronts as ceasefires have been brokered. So this is very much their last stronghold, and a lot of these fighters are extremely determined. So a full-on invasion and attack on this area would be very damaging. The damage right now is already quite important, with 150,000 people displaced, around over 80 civilian casualties at this stage, and indeed 13 hospitals or field hospitals that have been targeted so far. Those are UN figures. So the humanitarian situation is already bad. If it was to escalate, it would get worse.